Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching the Gilded Age, Episode 2, Money Isn't Everything. To which our lovely Marian says, only if you have some.
Exactly. These people,
I know.
beggars and choosers with where this money is coming from.
No. They don't care where the money's coming from, but they don't want to be friends with the person who's giving it.
I don't understand.
Meanwhile, I only want to be friends with Bertha Russell.
Right. Invite me over to your palace, please. Absolutely. And it blows my mind. This is what I started to say. And then I was like, nope, okay. I'm going to wait until we're recording. But these people are railroad money. Yeah. They have so much money and will continuously have so much money for so long. Why wouldn't you want to align yourself with someone who is just made of money at that point? And because I feel like a lot of these old families, I mean, not for nothing, probably a lot of them are fledgling. I mean, it's generational wealth, but like, you know, all of these, especially the women, I mean, if it's like, if you're married to a husband who squanders your money, oh, well, that's sorry about it.
Yeah, that's super. And also, there's the implication that, like, the amount of money the Russells have can't even be fathomed by the other families because they invite the Morrises over because George wants to do business with the husband. And basically, first of all, it is a hilariously subtle catfight.
Oh, yeah.
That all four people of them know it's happening, but they have to, like, maintain appearances. They can't just have a drag out at dinner. And so she's just as like, yes, your house is new, but so busy, don't you think? And like, it's just all this shit. So super funny. But the implication, she's like, because the Russells have a French chef as their cook in the house. And she's like, Mrs. Morris is like, but the expense. And she just is like, well, we think it's worth it. So we have a French chef. But it's like the Morrises couldn't fathom paying for a French chef.
Right.
Because they probably don't have enough money.
Right. But so then you're going to turn your nose up. I don't understand. And I know that I'm looking at an old world through a very new world lens. Of course. But it seems so counterintuitive to what these old biddies are trying to do, which is to raise funds.
Plus, also think about it at the end there. So basically the two main plots, I guess the three major plots, the A, B, and C are the women's like society is having this bazaar to raise money for the Widows and Orphans Fund. George Russell wants basically to do insider trading.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, he wants the other guys to do insider trading that will help him get his like secondary railroad up against that other man's railroad built and a new station in New York. And then Marian and, oh God, I forgot her name. Peggy. They are spending time with the lawyer, Mr. Rakes, who is still cute and still around. He is apparently moving to New York, which I'm excited about. So anyway, at the end, when Mr. Russell, how many stalls do you think were in there? How many like tables? 10 at least.
Yeah, 7 to 10.
So basically in the like money of today, he just drops $20,000 to buy out this bazaar.
Because that's the other thing, too, is they offered up the ballroom in their house for the bazaar. And the lady was like, no, we already have the armory. And then conveniently,
they don't have the armory.
Yep, they were double booked. She goes, well, we're going to do it at the hotel. And then
apparently a kind of tacky hotel, too.
Yeah.
Like not a currently nice hotel.
Yeah. And Bertha reads it in the paper and goes, fucking batshit.
I feel like we're going to be dealing with a lot of broken china in the Russell house.
Ugh.
She just took her whole breakfast tray and hucked it across the room.
It was a really nice breakfast table, too.
It was really nice. I think the table can be salvaged.
Yeah.
I think the little...
everything on it.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
No.
But yeah, and so they show up to this bazaar, and Mr. Russell was just like, $100 for you, $100 for you. But everything had to be packed up and delivered to their house within the hour. And they had to close down their shop. And it's just like, well, you shut it down within an hour.
And it was supposed to be for 3 days.
3 days worth of bazaar.
I love it. I love the Russells. I also love how Marian loves the Russells because she's a little naive because I don't believe for one single minute that Mrs. Bauer is not going to keep gambling.
Oh, no.
Whatever, put her in debt. So She's a little naive, but that's to be expected. But she is pretty savvy because she literally was talking back and forth with George and he was like $100. And she goes, I feel like I should ask for $5 and really bump this into the stratosphere. But she didn't. And I don't know. I just like, I really love her behavior and attitude towards everybody.
Because she's the only one that I feel like is acting enough common sense.
Yeah.
Where she's like, why can I not be friends with these people who are made of fucking money and all you all talk about is money?
Like literally, okay, here's the thing. Because Larry Russell is so cute and so nice. And he likes, they like each other. Potentially only as friends, fine, whatever. Should she not use that to her advantage and meet his rich friends?
Well, and then to that end as well, if it's an advantageous coupling, so if both parties like each other, why wouldn't Agnes, why would she disapprove of that union? Because, I mean, at this point, marrying for love is still not a thing that is done. Yeah. It's still a business merger.
Well, because she does specifically say, I don't want her to marry for money, but I want her to marry for security.
Are you not talking about the same thing? You're talking about the same thing. And that's the other thing, too. Why are you shitting on Mr. Rakes because he's a lawyer? People need lawyers.
She straight up called him a shyster.
I know, which is crazy because it's like play the long game. Yeah. People need lawyers. They will always have money as long as he is not, you know, as long as he's not an actual shyster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't seem to be. He had a successful like career in Pennsylvania. He just always wanted to come to New York. And I feel like he is following her to New York.
Oh, I would agree.
So, I don't know. It's sort of ridiculous. We also, Oscar Van Ryn, Agnes's son, was really trying to make it happen with Gladys Russell in this episode. I feel like Carrie Coon is sort of like, we'll see. But Gladys also still isn't out yet. So she's got to be like 16.
But she was supposed to be out. They made a comment last episode that she's supposed to be out, but she's late.
So maybe 17?
Yeah. Because Bertha, I hate that name. But she wanted to have the ball in their house.
Right.
So she's probably 17.
Yeah. Oscar looks like a middle-aged man.
Middle 30s.
Yeah, middle 30s at least.
Yeah.
And then freaking Turner straight up touched George right on his own body.
Both of us clutched our pearls. We're like, no, you do not do that.
No, ma'am. Super weird. We were talking about the costumes a little. I'm not going to say her name because she took her videos down and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I found a TikToker who basically was talking about like troubles costuming this production. And I can definitely see it because there are multiple. So, okay, the reason that I think there were actually troubles was specifically the scene where Mrs. Fane and Mrs. Morris were sitting next to each other at that meeting. Because I can excuse Kelly O'Hara, Mrs. Fane, having outdated, out of fashion stuff because she's like the top lady in this society of ladies. She like runs all the boards and stuff. So I can see her having these clothes that are like sort of hideous. And the one that she's wearing at the bazaar actually looks like it used to be a different dress that they just put like a lace applique over the whole thing.
It looked like curtains.
Yeah, it was not good. And so for the most part, I can believe that like she is still that it's a visual representation of her still being stuck in the past. Whereas Bertha Russell is like at the forefront of everything. She used the new architect. You know, she's got the French chef. You would imagine that she wants her dresses and clothes and stuff to be at the forefront of fashion.
Very clean lines, not a lot of frill. I think the only frill we got from her was in that wine dress with the gold brocade lace around the top. It was little
dress ended me.
It was a little Elizabethan. I didn't super love the collar because it went all the way around.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, but I loved it.
And even the like clear glass, which I mean, it was probably a fucking diamond that was buffed within an inch of his life because she had matching earrings as well. But it was like a brooch on the corner. Amazing. Oh my, it was stunning.
So if it weren't for that scene where all the women are together in that meeting and Mrs. Morris is wearing something so clean with the lines and the stripes that meet in the middle.
Patterning, yeah. I
mean, you can't look at those two dresses together because they look like they're from, because then Mrs. Fane had all the ruching and it was like blue. And I don't know.
It looked like, you remember those shirts in like the early 2000s where they were all one size, but you could stretch them?
Yep.
That's what it looked like.
It did. It did look like that.
Tacky.
And so having that scene with the two of them sitting next to each other was the only moment where I was like, oh, I can see the like seams in like the issues in the costume.
Well, there was like too many cooks in the kitchen, but nobody was making a decision.
Right. That's exactly what it sounded like. So again, I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she got in trouble and got told to take it down. But also
T.
But T. I like.
Thank you.
She had like She had like 2 videos, and she basically was like, there was like not a full sense of direction behind the scenes. So we'll see moving forward. There's not been a ton, and I'm still loving everything that Marian is wearing.
Oh yeah, that crocheted like top. It was so pretty, and like crocheting can go one of 2 ways, either really good or doily.
So, because that's the thing, is there was like a bubble crochet thing on the what's the young Astor, Carrie Astor's dress at the end when Mrs. Astor came home, and I didn't like that.
I didn't either.
Because it was like a bubble crochet inset on this dress, and I was like, you're an Astor.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Like,
well, but I mean, this is also the time period. Well, I guess it would be, is that time period still considered Edwardian, or is that early 1900s? Basically what I'm getting at, you had like
this is more Victorian.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's still kind of graduated into Edwardian, but you had like a pigeon fold thing in the front to make you bustier.
Sure.
So it might have been at the beginnings of that. So like I would almost kind of excuse it because it was in its infancy.
Yeah, but it was concentrated on one side only. It wasn't like
it was very uneven.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a stomacher. It felt like in addition to the dress. So it's kind of weird. But like I said, I'm still loving everything Marian wears because hers is also very, very stripped down.
Yes.
She's and it's a lot still of like the jumpers and then the like lacy or crocheted like shirt underneath.
The texture is still there because I feel like that's the common through point with all this costuming is there's texture.
Yeah.
And so hers is very, while it is pared down volume wise, she's still keeping up because of all the texture of her gowns, because also she has the velvet, always like a velvet belt with it going down the side. Yeah. And she also doesn't wear any of like the volumizers on like her sides and her back. Everything is very trim. Fitted.
Yeah. I love her clothes. I think they're my favorites. I like Carrie Coon's clothes a lot. That peacock one was slightly off kilter.
It was
for me.
Almost there.
So close.
But it just crossed over into Tacky Town.
I think it was not quite the right shade of blue.
I think the patterning of the eye is what did it too, because that's another thing with like cartoon or like with peacock feathers is it enters into the realm of cartoon.
Yeah,
and that's why, because I've wanted a peacock feather tattoo for so long.
But it's hard.
I can't find one that I like because they look really cartoonish.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
should do like an Art Nouveau.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But still, I'm very particular. I have an image in my head. But so the hat was stunning.
The hat was great.
And I think that was the right shade of blue as well, because I think the jacket was too light, where the hat was a little bit more jewel tone.
Yeah. I agree. And Carrie Coon looks amazing in the jewel tones. I mean, she looks amazing and everything. But oh God, that green dressing gown.
It was chartreuse, but like a darker chartreuse. Ugh, it's so good. It's like basically the color of that that bottle. So good, but like
my
just
husband's Lagavulin.
Yeah, but just like a really rich velvet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bring back house coats.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also got Mrs. Chamberlain. Sylvia, I think they said Sylvia Chamberlain.
Yes.
Jean Triplehorn's character. We got some dialogue from her this time. She spoke to Marian for a minute and she was like, you're being very brave speaking to me, but I'll buy a couple of these handkerchiefs. Here's $5. Keep the change, even though they were selling for like 50 cents a piece. Loved it. There is, like we suspected, something in her past.
Yep.
It's got to be one of those two that I said, divorce or caught in an affair.
I'm thinking more of the affair because the divorce, I don't know. Agnes's, her tone and like
it feels more insidious. Not insidious. There's a word that's,
I know, and it just left my brain.
There's a word that's like insidious, but with a sexual connotation. Illicit.
there we go.
So yes, there does seem to be something more illicit about whatever is going on with Mrs. Chamberlain.
Also, her hat was this high again.
Oh my God, amazing. Yep. I loved it. I love Jean Triplehorn. I know I said it last week. We have also gotten a couple of comments. We are now, yes, aware that Louisa Jacobson is Meryl Streep's daughter.
Oh my God, now we can't unsee it.
And it jumped the fuck out.
Wow.
So we knew that. I feel like we got another couple comments, but I don't remember what they were, if they were referring to anything specific.
Well, we're happy that you guys are here,
yes.
and we're happy that you guys are happy that we're doing this.
So glad. It's been super fun so far, and I can't wait to keep watching it. Yeah, I'm really liking it. I love just the delicious drama of like rich people.
Same. And we got an opening this time, which was nice because the music, it sounded like a train and everything was just very flourishing and just really pretty. I really, really like how all of the imagery went from, it like started with the chandelier and then it went into the diamond necklace. My God, we go inside the chandelier. That is like, oh, that's just what I want. That's what I want my world to look like. I just want to be
through
inside
a chandelier.
Yeah.
And then it was like from like a flower arrangement into a dress. I mean, very, very good. I liked it quite a lot.
It was very, very pretty.
And the music is good. I don't like it quite as much as the Downton music. But
it's very American, where Downton is very English.
I don't really like American classical music.
Well, I don't know. I like how loud it is.
It is loud.
It's now a trend.
It just feels very bootstrappy in a way that I'm not into.
Fair.
That I'm like, stop scolding me to do my work, music.
Fair. But there's this trend right now that a lot of like TikTok artists are adding like orchestral versions to songs. Yeah. And so I am not joking. I think I've saved like 5 or 6 artists on there that have like added orchestral music. Nice. And so it's all very building and very loud. So I'm loving it. I'm having a great time.
I do like it. Oh, that was the other series of comments that we got. We are going to cover Downton Abbey.
Yes.
I sincerely promise it might be a while, but I can almost certainly guarantee you that we will start it this year. So definitely 2022, if you are one of the people who is here for us to cover Downton Abbey, me and Rachel will be doing that sometime this year.
And I'll be making eyes at all of you being like, But
yeah, I think that is mostly it. It looks like next week, the men, Mr. Morris and the rest of the men are going to screw over George Russell because they just don't like the Russells.
I feel like he's just going to bring the axe down.
He did just humiliate all of their wives, though, so I feel like it was a little short-sighted.
But I mean, one can only hope for a husband like that. I would love for my husband.
That was such a move.
Wherever you are. I know where you are, but like...
She does, too. She knows right where it is.
I'm manifesting. Anyway, I would love for my husband to go in and shut shit down on my behalf. Yeah. I mean... He'd be getting all kinds of treats for that.
He also, Morgan Spector.
He is so hot.
Can get it.
I just want to touch his beard.
It looks like it would be very soft.
Yeah, it really, there's oil. He oils that baby up.
It looks very nice. And then the only other thing I think is Peggy needed advice from Mr. Rakes as well. And we don't know what it was about because they spoke privately and she's going to write him a letter.
Yes. I really hope that Mr. Rakes and Marian are a thing. And I like that Ada still kind of defied Agnes because Agnes was like, don't encourage her.
Yeah. But at this point, who is she meant to be encouraged towards? Because she can't hook up with Oscar, she can't hook up with Larry, and she can't hook up with the lawyer. What other fucking men are there? Because the only other man that we've met that is available to her is fucking Oscar.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, like, what the shit?
Well, but they were trying to make Mr. Adams happen, which makes me, I don't understand why.
That was the one who was fucking Oscar, I thought. Yeah, okay.
But so Agnes was trying to put them in a room together. Yeah. So I don't understand that the great grandson of a former president is good enough for her breeding because apparently her mother was not up to snuff breeding wise, but yet a solicitor is not good enough for her. I don't.
What's the middle?
Yeah, I don't. You keep moving the strike zone. Yeah. I don't understand what you're saying to me
because it's also like but the new money isn't good enough. For her, even though he's like 5 times richer than you are. It doesn't make it
because at this point you're just pushing her into spinsterhood, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean,
she also says in this episode she can't leave her any money. It all has to go to Oscar. So whatever. All these people are a little short-sighted.
Pick a lane.
Yeah, agreed.
My God. Yeah, I don't. This time is not without its faults, but I'm very okay that I was born in this time period, that I'm able to have as much agency over my life and my decisions as I do.
Sure. Yes. And I've said this before and to his face and everything. But I mean, it's a good thing I love my husband, because if I were marrying for money, I did a real bad job.
So listen, I tried to marry for love, but that didn't work. Then the second time I was like, fuck love, I'm married for money. And that one really hurt my feelings.
That was not good.
Follow your heart.
Follow your bliss. You're good. But I've said that so many times where I'm just like, I love you and you know it, because if I were marrying you for your money, I did a bad job, like a super bad job.
It's just crazy to me to think that like marrying for love is only a thing that happened, that became a thing you did within the last like 80 years.
60 even.
Yeah, I was being generous.
There were a lot of like 50s marriages where it was just like,
God,
you got caught necking in the car at Lookout Point and that was it.
Boy.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm this person, I was watching a documentary about like American princesses on the Smithsonian
Is that the
Channel.
Grace Kelly thing you were watching? Yeah.
And Gloria Swanson, she became engaged to her French interpreter when she was making the Napoleon movie in France, and they were going to get married, but then she found out that she was pregnant with his baby, but she had to, so they got married, but the next day she terminated the pregnancy because it would look untoward if she gave birth so early, because at that time Paramount had a morality clause all over their contracts because all the male actors were fucking killing women and acting poorly. Yeah, but so she had a botched abortion that nearly killed her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but no, in the press it was just like a fever or whatever. But like, isn't that nuts?
That's super nuts.
Yeah, the rest of her story is really sad too. And poor Rita Hayworth, oh my God, so terrible.
What a bummer.
I know, you're welcome. I'm really just, sorry about that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We're still getting some pushback from
Morris.
No, not Morris. The downstairs maid.
Oh.
Against Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
She's like not.
What is?
I like can't even remember her, like Deborah Monk. Her name's Armstrong in the show. So she's still pushing back. She's like, it's like you think you're a secretary. And like the butler was like, she is a secretary.
I love that every time she tries to talk shit, he comes by and just puts a smack down on her real quick. No, like, no, she's above you. She is above you.
But yeah, that is pretty much it. So yeah, we will be back next week with more of the Gilded Age. Yay!
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.